Hello everyone. Hey, I often get the question, how should I structure and organize my course so that I get the results that I want? This is a question I get all the time. Since we're working with LearnDash, we're working with online course platforms, and it's an important question, and I get this question a lot more than, hey, what plugin should I use or what platform should I use? So let me walk you through the things that I think you should be thinking about as you develop and build your first online course. So first of all, a lot of people ask me questions like, hey, how many lessons should I have? How many topics? They're thinking about an outline. And I ask them to change that mentality. They should be thinking about what they're wanting the person to accomplish. A course should be something that helps people transform from where they are now to where they want to be. And so if you think about that transformation, what you want to do next is figure out, okay, what are the steps that they have to follow? They first ought to be doing this, then they should be doing this, then they should be doing this. And that should be the basis for your outline. You outline your course that way, and then you start filling in the lessons to support that. So you're thinking more in terms of what progress they should be making as they take your course, as opposed to how many lessons I should be having them go through. So start with the outcome and not the content. Then what you want to do is you want to break the learning journey into clear modules. A lot of people will come up with fancy names and things that sound clever. What you want is clarity. You want people to start off in your course and understand what they're doing in this module, in this part of the course. And if you can divide your courses up, in LearnDash you can do this, divide them up either into sections or into lessons that are divided into topics. You really want to make it so that no one's ever wondering, oh, I wonder what they're going to be talking about in this section. It should be very clear, because the title of that section or that module should very clearly specify, here's what we're going to be covering. So the next thing as you're developing that is you want to think about keeping every one of your lessons short, whether you're creating it with copy or whether you're using a lot of video. Don't go and do a 20 to 30 minute video or a worksheet that's going to take half an hour to an hour to go through. You want to keep it very succinct. That way people understand very clearly what they're going to be doing in this session. Another thing to keep in mind, and the reason we recommend you go short, is because a lot of people are learning in a not ideal environment. They're learning as they're going to bed. You may have someone who's watching their kids at soccer practice or lacrosse or whatever they're doing, and they're doing it in the car. And if you can keep your lessons at a very consistent length, then they'll go, you know what? It's going to be 30 minutes before I finish this. I can get 2 lessons in between now and then. And they know that they can contain it. And then if you do have a lesson that just must be 20, 25 minutes, then just tell them up front, hey, this is going to be outside of the norm, but this lesson, in order to get you what you need to get, I have to extend it. So, be warned up front. So just be very open with your learner about what's happening, but allow their expectation to be, hey, it's going to be very consistent, 5 to 12 minutes, 8 to 12 minute videos. And that's how you're going to run it throughout. You want to design your course for progress. Now, I'm not necessarily an advocate of keep your lessons, force people to take it in a specific order. There might be situations where you do want people to go forward, but that's mainly going to be when you have an audience where you have a lot of newbies coming in, but then you also have experienced people coming in, and you might want to allow the experienced people to skip over some sections. But keep in mind, you need to be seen as the expert. And if the course flows better by forcing people to go in a specific order, then enforce that. And then maybe use quizzes throughout the way to allow people to say, oh, it looks like I've learned this well enough to move forward. The quiz is less a tool for grading or certifying people unless you actually are running a certification. But it's a way for me, the learner, to see, oh, it looks like I understood enough of that content to move on. And this is important. Just think of someone who's learning, while they're about to go to bed, and they kind of halfway fall asleep, and then they hit the quiz and they're going, boy, I totally missed that one. Let me do it over again. So the quiz is a way for them to check themselves to see if they really understood this. And one thing that I always want to specify is give them action steps. Give them something to do. You could use quizzes like I just said, but if you could have them complete a worksheet, or if you're teaching, let's say, interviewing skills, have them take out some sort of a script and work with someone. So you want them to put it to use, and that's just a great way to reinforce the learning. You definitely want to have them move away from the computer and actually do something, which then proves that they've learned something and they can feel like they've learned something. Now, I highly recommend don't overcomplicate things. If you see that your course is bloating, it could be that you have more than one course. It's possible that what you really want is an introductory course followed by a second course, which, by the way, gives you a great opportunity to upsell people. Maybe what you really need is to have an introductory course that you allow people to get into for free or at some sort of very reasonable price. And then when they get to the end of it, you have them thinking, gosh, that's really good. I really need to continue. And now you've got them hooked. They see you as the expert. They appreciate your content. And now what you want to do is sell them on something. But you've spent that first introductory course selling them on what it is that is to come. So, that's a great way to do it. So always think about the student expertise, the student experience. Make sure that it flows very nicely. The login is very smooth. They can always come back and understand where they left off. Do modules flow naturally into the next one, or does it feel like all of a sudden took a jackknife turn and you're wondering what just happened? So make sure that it runs smoothly. And the last thing I can share with you is don't assume you're going to get it perfectly right the first time. Don't go out and shoot for perfection. Get yourself a really good course. Good enough is the enemy. Perfection is the enemy of good enough. And assume that you want to get it out there. You want to get feedback from your learners and then improve it over time. But you might be surprised. It could be that your first time out of the chute, since you understand your subject matter really well, you get it good enough. People are very happy with it. And then you can go after expanding or providing additional support modules and courses that go with it. So I hope this helps. I'm more than happy to meet with you, talk to you about how you should be progressing, give you some sort of my expertise, all this for free. And if we can be a provider to support you in building your courses, that's what we're here for. So take care.